7:30 p.m. Aiko Kota. Yes, hello, San Bonan. Anyway, welcome back. It's 7:30 p.m. on the dot. Time for the sports segment, and Salilo is going to be standing in for Zakir in the sports on Salam Media Friday Night Live. And so tonight you're talking PSL.
Talking PSL, hey, really interesting midweek fixtures. The champions Sundowns topping the log. They're looking really good. Their three coaches seem to have gotten the combinations. The Orlando Pirates, Mapagapaga got their first win of the season. So they played 3, draw 2, 1-1. So that's good. And also Maritzburg United, Black Leopards, bottom of the table. They almost suffered relegation last season. So it's kind of looking tricky for them. There hasn't been any real improvement.
But don't underestimate the vendor boys, eh?
The vendor boys.
You know what they call me there in Malamulele?
What do they call you?
Mashuru. I'm lucky like that.
Okay, so without wasting any more time.
Anyway, you're going to hold it down. Yourself and Len going to take over with the PSL. Sure. Thereafter, you're going to be talking rugby, I guess. Yeah.
Thereafter,
Vincent Chikuta. So then and a whole lot more still to come. Anyway, Sanbonan from me and Sarilo, take it over. It's all yours. We'll be back after this.
Okay, a really interesting midweek in the PSL this week. Orlando Pirates played to a 1-0 win. They're my team. Really support the Buccaneers. They did really well there. But to kind of dissect all the midweek action, we're going to be chatting to our resident sports journalist, Lenn Moleko. He's on the line. Hi, Lenn.
Good evening.
Oh, good. Okay, so let's get into it. This midweek provided us with some good action-packed games. With obviously the weekend we had the MTN 8. I just want to get into it. Mamelodi Sundowns, Cape Town City. Has Sundowns gotten the formula? Do you think they cracked it? The three coaches. Do you think they finally got it right, seeing how they performed during the week against Cape Town City in their emphatic win there?
I don't really think there was anything wrong with Thunder.
Sure.
I think some people got too excited, too early. That there is multiple coaches rather at the club, with Pico Bella, and Mangabamu. And so, I'm going to say in inverted commas to the document, they unfortunately lost the game in the MTN quarterfinal. However, even under coach Peter Musimani, sometimes when others needed in the past rolling the MTN, but not both bad was the final a couple of years ago, only for sure on the sort of runs of people fit.
Yeah.
So the MTN is never really a Sundown type competition. For the league campaign. They would have thought that okay, cool, we are playing in travel teams, very well. Doing well, but they went there and they made a deal out of club.
Yeah.
So Sundown was rare to perform at home. It was just a case of make the three coaches work and whatever coaches they have, because the unified and all of them are able sort of like communicated separately to the players. But the way things were going, they were one of 16 but for the three games of the rush, you kind of get an understanding of where the team is going. If you're going to beat people,
Yeah.
You're going to beat travel teams like Sigrid, sort of like put back into a couple. And what sometimes really hurt by the pressure of people missing and really hurt by the arrival of Pickton Bella.
Yeah.
So they do very well they focus on Sunday at the beginning of the season before they even football. Obviously, what happened is they were not contenders.
Yeah. Okay. So I want us to now look at Morocco Swallows. They play TTM on Wednesday. They won 2-0. What do you make of them? Do you think they'll maybe cement their place in the PSL? Do you think they might not be one of those teams that come and go, as we've seen is the case with most teams that make it to the PSL after gaining promotion, or buying status like the likes of TTM and TS Galaxy?
Follows.
Yeah.
Before the season even started, they
Mm.
made those intentions clear. With some of the business that they did. One which shocked me, including me, was when they paid the services of Oxfam.
Yeah.
That after um, him having trained the college and performed in continuing. But
Yeah.
Charles told me to put in on Transi and talking about a pillar in defense.
Yeah.
Out of football for defensive stuff. In no way is Maracasolo style a player who is not proven Transi is. But one of many players that are of quality that they have purchased. And you can see in the results. I mean, they've played decently since the start of the season. They currently lying. They're also one of the teams that have not lost the game.
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe Swallows also the experience. They've some few players that have played in the PSL, the likes of Cheese Boy and then Vuomere. Do you think that kind of also adds to kind of the depth that they have now?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're gonna have a mixture of youngsters and um, season campaign, uh, it works because the old guys, and it's not only the blueberries and the cheeseburgers as well.
Yeah.
The bonus for and the fancy company and there's also a man I hope you trying to think about it when I was talking to Carol who also well um so you've got this nice mixture but you've got the old guys, you've got the young guys and you're
Yeah.
able to sort of like what the young guys learn from the old guys but at the same
Mm.
time what the young guys still what the and so
Yeah.
far that is doing well. I mean, 7 points for opening 3 games. They pretty much doing as well as Madrid can do. So
Mm.
I'm not saying they are fighting for Sunday, but the way they've been going about their business, they don't look like a team that is going to come into the finish but so they can count it and finish at number 11. Like, no, we got out. We could delegate it. They
Mm.
want to count it in there. So impressive with how they played so far, impressive with the performance that they've done, and since they played against CPM, but they played against last in the World Africa Championship. However, this is now playing against the big boys, and they have shown that they can hold out own against the big boys.
Yeah.
They well, they did Celtic not so long ago, they do Stellenbosch not so long ago. Um, they just recently did CPM. And if you
Mm.
look at their run of fixtures, their next game is against PS Galaxy, a team that they pretty much beat because they come from the same league.
Yeah.
And you can argue that the World Cup will come up against the likes of your Kaiser Chiefs, the likes of your Cape Town City, Orlando Pirates, Super Sports United, Mamelodi Sundowns. But so far, they have shown that, hey, we are in big leagues. You don't look up at anybody.
Yeah.
And we are playing the same game and we are here to be counted as well.
Mm. Now, I want us to just briefly just look at Baroka FC. Do you think it's too early to say they could be, one of the challenges this season? I mean, they played 3 games, won 2, drew 1. On Wednesday, having that 1-1 draw against Golden Arrows. They're looking pretty good themselves. What are your thoughts on Bahaga?
Look, I think they started their run of fixtures was it was manageable. The first game was
Yeah,
playing Hamburg, and then they played Leopard. Obviously, that being the derby, and then they played Arrow, a team that just recently lost their coach. Be it that they were playing against 10 men, but they could only manage a one-man floor. Their
yeah,
next game also is against TTM, team that seems to be struggling. Um, I think their real test will come when they take on Orlando Pirates. That's
yeah.
towards the end of this month. Uh, but Baroka have had this ailment of starting well
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Even last season, they started like a house on fire. I think right until the second round, they're actually doing really well. They were right there in the top three until the midway part of the season, and it just started going downhill from there. Do you think we'll see the same trend from Barroca this season?
look, there's a lot of teams that uh, they mean business this season.
Yeah,
Super Sport always means business. Sundowns, obviously, Orlando Pirates, obviously, Kansas City is a different kettle of fish, but obviously their their ambitions is to be down there about, if not at the top.
yeah,
Roca Swallows is down there.
mm,
We are not here to play games. We also want to be counted.
yeah,
Amazulu as well. Very ambitious team. So Stellenbosch are looking. They usually have the tendency of starting on their back foot, but once they
yeah,
start going, then things start happening for them. Chipa United blow hot and cold here and there. Room Celtic also start slow, but once they get going, they get going. So Baroka will probably push for a top eight position, but I don't see them finishing the top four. We know their ailment. It's been the same story for the past couple of seasons. They start decently well, but as
yeah.
time goes, then things just don't happen for them.
Now, I just want us to chat a bit about TTM and TS Galaxy there. Your thoughts on TTM saying they've released Opamanyesa. Really big news without even kicking a ball. What's happening there? Do you have an idea, or what could have been the reason why a big household name like Opamanyesa could be let go by TTM, which in the beginning you think they need the services of a player like him. He has experience in the PSL. He's played for the biggest clubs, Pirates, Sundowns, and they're only just coming now to the PSL. They'll probably need a player like him who has a pedigree that he has. But now all of a sudden they've let him go. He's out in the cold. Your thoughts there? Hello, Len. Okay, we seem to have lost Len there, but as I mentioned, TTM, the vendor-based side, who bought the status of the Gauteng-based Bidvest have released Opamanyesa, a very big player. He's played for the likes of Orlando Pirates, which he captained for some time. Went on to Mamelodi Sundowns with big money. But they've let him go without any solid reason behind them letting him go. But I think once we get Len back on the line, he'll surely just chat to us briefly about that. And another team that two teams that I wanted us to look at with Len's Black Leopards and Maritzburg United. Both these teams last season were at the bottom of the PSL. I think Maritzburg United and Black Leopards both played the playoffs, which kind of saved them to not be relegated. And now this season, they both started on a very slow trajectory. They've not been playing well themselves. I think Black Leopards hasn't won a game so far, and Maritzburg, I think they just drew some of their message. But I think we have Len back. So Len, hi.
Yes. Hi.
Okay, yeah. So I was just asking about TTM and the story around Opamanyesa. I think during the week it was announced that they've let him go, and it was kind of surprising because we know the pedigree that Opamanyesa has. He played for Orlando Pirates, was captain of the side. He played for Mamelodi Sundowns. Mamelodi Sundowns signed him from Pirates with huge amounts of money. But TTM, you think a team like them, they're just making their way into the PSL. They would need a player like him in the lineup to kind of lead the charges. But all of a sudden, they let him go.
It was very surprising, and there's
Yeah.
another story that I picked up on during the week, I think it was, where they also had a squabble of sorts with Molongwan. It was Molongwan.
Yeah. I think they were signed around the same time, and they were also released around the same time. This is really strange.
There were news at the start of the season that they had signed former Kaizer Chiefs striker.
Yeah.
And he was also another candidate for the club daily for a month, and then he left.
Yeah.
It all goes down to administration.
Yeah, definitely.
You get some teams who literally make a mess of administrating their club, and as a result, you end up with situations whereby you maybe sign a player, free agent, only to realize that perhaps you can't afford his wages /
Yeah,
salary,
definitely.
and you sign a player and realize that, okay, cool, they come from a big club and they did things differently. And I mean, I don't know what the ambitions of TM were when they bought the status of Bittersweet.
You think you think that the ambitions probably changed? You know, they spent some weeks in the PSL, played 1 or 2 games, and figured, you know, maybe we'll just settle to being a mid-table fighting for top 8 kind of team, which might not need an Opa Manyisa. You know, an Opa Manyisa probably, you know, you want to win the league or compete for top 8 or top 4 with that kind of player. You think maybe the ambitions change in that regard?
Look, you need not change your ambitions.
Yeah.
Look at everybody who was promoted, or well, who brought their way up.
Yeah.
Because only Swallows was automatically promoted.
Yeah.
Never mind that, but they went into the market and they bought season campaigns.
Yeah.
Yes, Galaxy did the same thing. Now, if you are TTM, and first and foremost, you have first pick on the players that were at first.
Definitely, yeah.
The majority of them to your rivals. And then you buy other players. I mean, I know, if I remember correct, the first 2 marquee signings were Joseph Molongwane
Yeah.
and Okamani. But before you know it, there's rumors that the 2 will be let go. Then you get to a situation whereby you hear they signed Augustine Mulenga or Gustavo Paez. Like, okay, they need business. And then 2 minutes later, you hear that, oh, Paez is gone, someone is gone, Okamani is gone. So if that's the case, and you're talking about ambition, if your fellow rivals are beating up those, especially those that were promoted upwards, and you are not doing the same, it means you are applying for relegation, because Black Leopard was
Yeah.
winning the league. They survived relegation. They beat the very same team to retain the state. So essentially, outside of the Chippas and the Stellenboschs of this world, Bloom Celtics, whoever, you are the only one who signed players, but now you're letting go of them. And in letting go of them,
really good players, you know, players that have won titles.
exactly. So you let go of them. Essentially, what that means is you are empowering your bullies. Because those very same players will end up at maybe a Stellenbosch, maybe a Chippa, maybe Swallows, maybe CS Galaxy, and the very same players will play against your team of inexperience in the big league.
Yeah,
players.
and funny enough, these are the teams which you might be competing for top 8 with, or when it comes to the relegation battle, these are the guys that you would most probably be competing against to see who might play playoffs at the end of the season, or who might get the big axe.
I think I will say it categorically now. CTM will
Yeah.
not compete for the top 8. If anything, they will
This is football, and stranger things have happened.
I know stranger things have happened. There's also a saying that says a fish rots from the head, and if
Yeah,
the management at CTM do not get their act right, that's going
yeah,
to trickle down to the players. We've seen it almost happen with Chippa United for so long. Coaches getting fired left, right, and center,
yeah.
then finding themselves fighting for relegation. So if they don't get their act together and remember that they are playing in the big league now, unfortunately for them, they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble.
Okay, so I wanted to kind of wrap it up now with the MTN 8. Of course, the second round, or the second legs of the fixtures are coming on this weekend. SuperSport United are going to Bloemfontein Celtics. The score there is currently 1-1. How do you see that penning down there? Do you think Bloemfontein Celtic might get one over SuperSport, or SuperSport might see another MTN 8 final?
The defending champions, I know they
Yeah.
know how to play this competition.
Definitely, yeah.
They've proven time and time again. I think they'll finish the job tomorrow and put themselves in the final.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the players. They've got the coach who knows who's been there. Bloem Celtic, having been in a final as well, they will have some sort of hunger, but this is a legged final. And for some odd reason, because SuperSport has done it at this level in this competition so many times,
Yeah.
I would like to put my money on SuperSport because
Experience. They have
know
the pedigree. Yeah.
Yes, they've got the pedigree, especially in a game of 2 legs. I see SuperSport getting to the finals.
And then round 2 of the Soweto Derby, most people are saying this is a dead rubber. This is gone for Makosi. What do you think? You think they can pull a surprise there and make it to the final there? The score currently stays at 3-0. They didn't score an away goal. Pirates just needs 1 goal to wrap up the match, or they need a draw. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to ask you a question to answer your question.
Sure.
How many goals has Chiefs got thus far since the start of the season?
They didn't score any goal. They actually the only goal that they have was an own goal. I think they were playing against Chippa United.
and the game they won against I think it was United.
Yeah.
1-0 in the quarterfinals of the MTN
of the MTN 8. So yeah, there's 1 goal which technically they scored themselves, and another own goal. So it's looking really shaky for Makosi there.
So to answer your question, having you haven't answered my question, they've barely got 3 goals.
Ish.
In 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. How are they going to do it in 1 game?
Well, Pirates also, before coming to the Kaizer Chiefs match, how many goals have they've been scoring themselves in the last 2 PSL games that they've played? They've also coming out of their own right now in the derby. I don't think that they've gelled that well themselves. I don't know. What do you think?
Look, at some point you kind of, I want to say, wake up.
Yeah.
And Pirates have. They started the season. They woke up at the start of the season because they gave Chiefs 3 goals. And the team also that we look at, they've been given 3 goals by their biggest rivals in the league.
Yeah.
So I ask again, perhaps they can score 3 goals, but can they keep another 3 goals out?
That's a really good question, and I think that's where we're going to leave it, Lenn. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure chatting to you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Will do. Thank you very much. That's everything with you guys.
Hey, ta-da.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salami